you're in the middle of explaining something that bothered you. And right as you start to make your point, the conversation shifts. Now you're being asked why you said it that way, or why you brought it up at all. And suddenly, something feels off. You may recognize the moment when the conversation starts to move away from what you originally brought up, and you may notice yourself trying to bring it back to that original point. But it doesn't stay there for long. Over time, this can start to feel mentally tiring, and it can leave you wondering why things never feel fully resolved. What often happens in these moments is that the focus of the conversation begins to change. Instead of staying with the concern you raised, the attention shifts toward your reaction, or your tone, or how the conversation is happening. So the original issue starts to move into the background, and the conversation becomes more about you. For them, this can become useful because what this often does is change how the interaction is experienced. The focus begins to shift from the concern you raised to how the conversation feels. And as that shift happens, the conversation can start to center around your response. So instead of staying with what was said or what happened, the attention moves toward how you're reacting in the moment. This can create a situation where the original concern becomes harder to hold on to because the conversation is now moving in a different direction. And over time, this can make it more difficult for the original issue to stay at the center of the conversation. Some people who study relational behavior sometimes describe this as a narcissistic communication pattern when it happens repeatedly. If this happens once, it may be misunderstanding, but when it repeats, a pattern can form. In healthy conversations, both people stay with the original concern long enough to understand it. But in this kind of pattern, the conversation can begin to shift. Many people in this situation start trying harder. They explain more. They adjust how they say things. They try to stay calm. But even with that effort, the direction of the conversation keeps changing. And over time, this can make things feel unclear and unresolved. Recognizing this can bring clarity because it helps explain why the conversation is not actually moving forward. If this helped put words to your experience, like the video and subscribe to the channel. This channel exists to help you recognize narcissistic and manipulative patterns calmly, clearly, and without blame, so you can understand what's happening and trust yourself again. And when conversations unfold this way, another pattern often begins to form. In the next video, we're going to explain why they change the topic during conflict and how that pattern keeps the conversation from resolving. Click here to watch.